I was like, wait a second. Wait a second. How
When
you
you're
guys
good
doing?
looking, when you're good looking like you gotta at least throw some rocks at you.
Thank you. I
Do
listened to that Jason Hopper podcast. You want me to take my shirt off?
please, please, we get some more viewers.
Yeah, right.
Uh, before we start, let me just come out hot here and say, I bet you my boy Travis Mayer could also do a 350-pound hang clean and jerk.
I
You
don't know.
better,
We
you
have to
better
try
quit
it at the
showing
games.
off. You better
Yeah.
quit showing off like that.
He could move the
Three.
clean, but can he jerk it?
What in the hell possessed you to do that? That was insane.
Thank you. Any Olympic lifting is good for me.
Crazy. Do you know my co-host and personal scapegoat for all my problems that have occurred with my life on planet Earth?
I didn't
Brian
know all
Friend.
that.
That's
He
Brian
messaged me
Friend,
on
yes.
Instagram right after I qualified, and I didn't realize who it was because I had so many messages and stuff. And then I went back and I went to his page and I was like, wait a second, I already talked to him.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
I have many known responsibilities, but bearing the burden of Sevan's shortcomings was secret until now.
Well, I'm glad
but
to be
you
a part of
felt it.
the.
You've experienced it. It's just never been titled. A friend of mine in high school, I think it was our senior year, maybe it was our first year at City College. He learned that term scapegoat, and he said it's a target for misplaced aggression. And and he's like, I'm basically the scapegoat in our group of friends. I was like, oh yeah, you are. He's just that dude, you're sitting around in the living room and someone throws a remote at him or a pillow. He was just always that guy who got the shit. He's like, I'm the
Yeah, right.
scapegoat. I'm like, yep, yep. Zach, before we go on, the reason why you had to text me and say, hey, are we doing this or not? And I was, because normally I send the link out 10 minutes before, and it was 5 minutes before, and I hadn't sent it out. It's because I was trapped in my head preparing a little monologue. So bear with me here while
I love these.
go off on my frustrations. So, in a previous life, I made a movie called Our House. It's on YouTube now. It won 30 Film Festival awards, including winning beating Spellbound, which won the Academy Award that year twice. We beat it twice when we ran across it in film festivals across the country. I received the award for Best Film from Forrest Whitaker and Selma Hayek at a film festival. And it was about disabled adults, and I worked in a home for mentally disabled adults for 5 years, and in that home there were people with Williams syndrome, Down syndrome, alcohol fetal syndrome. There were 6 people, and they lived there, and I lived there on the property with them for 5 years in my motorhome that I illegally parked on the driveway. And I made this movie about them called Our House. And one of the things, so basically we just helped take care of them. And on a side note about the movie, when the movie came out, the state of California, the Department of Disabled Services, DDS, they basically tried to shut the house down, saying the movie was a bad representation of mentally disabled adults. And the parents of those adults came to my defense, and they said, hey, it may be a bad representation, but it's the truth. It is the truth. This is what it's like living in a disabled home. And so let that sink into everyone's brain about my character. This isn't my first rodeo. I was a young homeless man when I made that film, just living on the driveway with disabled adults, taking care of them, wiping people's asses with pleasure, and doing the good work, cooking dinner for people, just loving on people who needed love. And one of the things that I remember saying to this girl one time who lived there, she was a woman, probably 35 years old. We were at the ATM, and we were getting money out for her. And the ATM had run out of money, and I was like, oh, we have to wait for people to put more money in it. And she's like, what do you mean? And she couldn't grasp the idea that money came from somewhere else besides the ATM machine. She thought that it just grew back there or something. I don't know what she thought, but I could not, for on my part, I couldn't explain to her where money came from. But I knew that it wasn't grown behind the ATM machine, right? I knew it had to be printed somewhere else and brought there. And I wasn't any economics major. I just knew. I felt like I knew. I was willing to bet, my hand on it, that hey, the money wasn't being made behind this Bank of America teller. Which takes me to my next topic. People will say, and you guys can try to connect this all if you want, people will say that games athletes deserve more money, and they think that for some reason I think they should deserve it, or they should not deserve it, or they should get it, or they should not get it. It doesn't matter We're dealing in truth, people. And if you go outside of that metric, then you kind of lose me. Then when you're not dealing with truth, you're in your head and you're making shit up. If I throw an apple up in the air, I don't have a choice to say, well, that apple deserves to stay up in the air forever. It does not work that way. That apple has a roll and it has to come down. That money does not appear from just behind the ATM magically. Which brings me to my next thing. It's just basic economics. This guy's like, hey, you're saying games athletes shouldn't get paid more, and they don't deserve to get paid more. It's not up to me. And I explained to this guy, and I didn't even know this, and this is what I was kind of researching before you came on, Zach, and I apologize for sending you the link late. But I said, I bet you the gate at Wimbledon, the gate, that's the ticket sales, are greater than the entire revenue of CrossFit Inc. And I was wrong. But Wimbledon, that event, makes $360 million a year. They give away $48,629,684.95 in prize money. I had to convert that from pounds for you guys. The broadcast deal alone is $160 million. The ticket sales from the Super Bowl are $65 million. What is my point? You do not understand, and I worked at CrossFit Inc. for 15 years. Sorry, Zach, none of this is directed at you. You don't deserve any of this. I worked at CrossFit Inc. for 15 years, and I'm telling you that there's not 5 people on the planet who know more about CrossFit in its totality than me, and I am being extremely humble by saying 5. So stop saying that, and I know there's different arguments, and maybe they're valid. Matt said in our podcast that HQ was blocking the semifinals or the sanctionals or whatever they're called from giving more money than $5,000. I don't know the details of that, but I'm just telling you, understand that money doesn't just appear out of nowhere. CrossFit Inc. has to make the money before they give it to you, and it doesn't matter what you deserve. Like, that's just delusional talk. That's just like your emotional plea. Like, I don't do the woke crowd shit. I don't do emotional plea. Okay. Peace and love. Zach, you are a beast. Were you scared shitless when you were put in the Mid-Atlantic Regional with those savages?
Yeah. I was reading through the name list when it got announced, and I was like, man, it's just the list is ongoing and never stops. And then I started swiping through all the other ones, and I was like equally impressed with how many awesome people were at every semifinal. And I don't know, it just kept going. Like, there were so many awesome people. I was just impressed with all of them, honestly.
So you kind of lied to yourself and said that there were good dudes elsewhere to kind of make yourself feel better, that you were stuck with
Not a lie. No,
Jason
not
Hopper,
a lie.
Jason Hopper, Scott Panchik, Justin Medeiros, Travis Mayer. I mean, this is Ben Smith. This is
Yeah.
I mean, you were thrown to the wolves.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Who else did I just saw another name I recognize, Marquand Jones. I mean, these are just not CrossFitters. These are legitimate, bona fide. Travis Williams. Oh, you're lucky. He went home early, right?
You skipped over Samuel Quant.
Samuel Quant.
Yeah, him
I mean,
too.
these are part human, part savages. These guys.
Yeah.
And Hopper's got
impressed with
God
everyone.
on his side. Hopper's got God on his side. I mean, you're fucked. And you pulled it off. You took 5th place.
Yeah. I tried to give it away in the 4th event, but held on.
Is that Inception?
Yeah, the running workout.
Okay, let's start there. Let's talk about the worst.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about the worst.
I knew it was coming. Let's just get it over with.
Because people will even DM me and be like, "Hey, do you really deserve to go to the games if you get capped?" Brian, what is and you got capped plus 24, whatever that means. Brian, what is Inception? And say the meanest shit you can say about Zach, so that from here we can build up and love on him for the next hour.
Inception's a 3-round workout that has varying rounds of the same work to accomplish, which in every round in some combination you have to run 900 meters, do 18 ring muscle ups, and do 36 wall balls with a heavy wall ball. And watched actually all of the men's heats from the past weekend recently for the Mid-Atlantic. And I think that Zach's just not at the up to par with the running relative to the rest of the guys. And now he's made the games, but he also had the longest time between semifinal and games of any athlete could have, qualifying in the first week. And running is one of those things that you can improve dramatically in a couple months if you focus on it. So hopefully he's been doing that, because it's usually tested 3 to 6 times in various capacities over an entire weekend at the games.
That's a beautiful shit sandwich you made him. That was beautiful. Zach, do you have any adjustments you need to make to Brian's analysis?
No, I think that workout was also a little scary in a way that normally workouts, as like the workout goes on, like the reps get less, but like it stayed the same volume all the way through. So I thought that was an interesting take to that workout.
So you had to do 18 ring muscle ups every round?
Yeah.
See, I didn't see your participation in that event, but I would have just out of conventional wisdom guessed it was at the ring muscle ups.
No, actually for me, like I love ring muscle ups and I like wall balls, and heavy wall balls are normally good for me. So the running, I'm notoriously not good at running. I mean, I did horrible at the 333 event at regionals. I believe that was 2018. I got like second to last in that workout on a true form runner. But my main problem, unfortunately, is that I work full time. So the time that I do have outside of working is like I would just like rush to the gym and do like gym focused workouts, like WODs and skill stuff, and unfortunately running got put on the back burner with the limited time that I had.
We'll circle back to that work thing because that is fascinating. I heard you say even in one, I think it was an interview I saw it on your Instagram, that you said you even just still take classes. And
yeah. So I started off. Go ahead. What? No,
we'll come back to that. I have one more question about this workout.
Okay.
We'll come back to that.
Okay.
Hold on, Brian. It is concerning because it's only 900 meters, right?
Well, each round is 900 meters, so it's a mile and a half of running or so.
How would he have done? Would he have done? So he would have done significantly better if it was 200 meters.
Maybe. I mean, it's hard to tell because the true form runner is kind of a strange implement. Like, for me, it's easier to tell if someone's a good runner when I actually see them run than on the true form. Because on the true form, I mean, you can tell when someone's really bad, but sometimes people look like Jason Hopper actually doesn't look like he's running very well when he's on the true form, but he was running well relative to the other guys. So it's a little bit misleading at times.
Do you have a running coach, Zach?
I don't have a specific running coach, but I work with Coach L from Brute Strength, and they go with a lot of the Chris Henshaw stuff.
Are you working on it, like Brian said? Is that like a pretty serious focus for you between now and the games?
Yeah, definitely endurance focused. We do a lot of running, a lot of ruck running, just kind of all various forms of running, mainly just outside right now.
Do you see yourself getting better?
Yeah, I like to think so. I think over the course of the past 4 to 6 weeks, working on all the endurance and all the running, I definitely feel that I am getting better at running. I think just like single modality, like just running in general, isn't a strong suit, but I think when it's paired with other things, particularly not muscle ups and wall balls, apparently, I do better. So like I was doing the midline madness from the games, the running and yoke carry workout that they did that back at the StubHub Center, and I was able to move through that one fine. I felt like I was even pushing the pace on the run and moving at a decent pace for me. I don't know how it would reflect at the games itself, but I felt solid in that.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
And you've had the same girlfriend since you've been 16?
Yeah, I have. Her name's Bailey. High school sweetheart.
Yeah, you love the shit out of her.
I do. I do.
You don't even have an Instagram account. It's more like a shrine to her.
Sevan, just one thing before we leave.
Yeah, definitely.
One thing before we leave the running, because I think is important, is the most. I think.
Wait. What was the word you said there? Important?
Yeah.
Say it again.
Important? What?
All right. Sound like you're from Canada for a second.
Oh. Anyway.
Go on. Don't let me distract you,
that,
Brian. One thing that you think that's important?
Yeah. So he might work on the running, and maybe he won't do as well relative to the field in the running events as he wants. Maybe he will, but even if he doesn't, as long as he isn't destroyed by those events, as long as the running doesn't make him feel so bad that he can't perform on his other events, then even still, I'd say the running training has paid off.
Mm-hmm.
What's this event you took first place in, the 8 mile?
Oh, it's the complete opposite of the name. It is a 1 rep max snatch.
That's what I thought. Why do they call it the 8 mile?
Because
honestly,
no,
I
no.
don't
The
know.
reason is I actually Luke Espy shared his thoughts, his explanation for all these workout titles. It's because of you get one shot, one opportunity. That line. From the rap song.
Eminem action.
So you're strong like bull.
You could say that.
Yeah. Wow. And is that a PR for you? 310?
No, I hit 315 a couple years ago, but getting that close to 310 in that setting, I'm extremely happy with. I was hoping for anything over 300, and we stood around for 10, 15 minutes in the back, didn't touch a single barbell, and had to just hit it basically cold. So luckily started off at 280, hit that. That was more nerve-wracking than the 310 was.
So why did you choose 310? Did you know that the other guys, did you see all the strongest guys already go and hit 300?
He wasn't in the final heat?
I wasn't. Yeah, it was not. Yeah, it was not. I was standing in the back and I heard that like Mark Hutchinson had hit 300 in the first heat, and I was like, I mean, that's pretty heavy. Like, I'm hoping I can get close to that. And people in the back were kind of telling me what they were going to start at, and they were all kind of saying like 275 with a goal of like high 200s. And I was like, well, my goal is definitely higher than that, so I guess I need to start higher than 275. So I started at 280. That was like something that I could muster up in that moment. So 280, then I jumped to 300, and I actually overpulled that, so I missed it. But it was a confidence building lift for me because I like pulled it too hard, basically, is how I think of it, and it went behind me. So I looked at my coach, and he was excited about the overpull and stuff, and he was like, well, go up to like 305, and I was like, no, like I want 310. So I put on 310 and hit that. So that was good. It could have been scary, but I hit it. So
yeah. So for people who, like for me, who don't snatch more than dumbbells, so it's not guaranteed. If just because your PR is 315, a 310 isn't guaranteed in a setting, it's still scary as shit, is what you're saying.
Yeah, for sure.
And
so many guys.
Basically, that one lift is what sent him to the games. When you look, like if he missed it, and he only had to record 280 since he missed his second one, that cost him 36 points, and he made the games by 28 points.
Yeah, basically would have knocked him down into sixth place.
Yeah. Then I would have to do the last chance qualifier.
Oh, fun. That's fun. Well, at least then you would have made it on another one of our shows. At least that's the bonus. We'd have talked about you a little bit.
That would have been good.
So when you get that, so is your snatch or your strength going to suffer because of all this running you're working on?
No, I don't think so. I think Olympic lifting is definitely my strong suit. I mean, that 350 clean plus hang, clean plus jerk was literally last weekend. And snatching is just like, I have a lot of confidence in snatching. It's just a good thing for me.
So you're 25 years old, and how long have you been dabbling in CrossFit?
I started CrossFit in 2014 after I graduated from high school. My mom had jumped into CrossFit and kind of pulled all of us in slowly. And I played one semester of college football at a local D3 college here in Cincinnati. And I just wasn't into it. I was just a hitting dummy on the sidelines. And I'm just like sitting there thinking of like what was going on at CrossFit. And I didn't have a major that I was interested in at that school. So I was actually reading the Rich Froning book when that first came out. And he was like talking about how he majored in exercise science. And I was like, well, that's a cool thing. Like I have my L1. I'm interested in CrossFit. Like exercise science got to be up that road somewhere. So I saw another college in Cincinnati. It's called Northern Kentucky University. Had it. So I basically transferred over there and went CrossFit as much as I possibly could. And
you met your girlfriend in high school though.
Yeah.
Who's now your wife.
Yes.
And tell me her name again.
Emily. Her name is Bailey.
Bailey,
yeah.
So you meet her in high school, and you went to the prom with her?
Yeah, multiple proms.
Crazy, great memories. I can't tell if you're a smart guy by like knowing her for so long before you got married, or if you're not a smart guy for getting married so young. But we'll get to the bottom of that by the end of this interview.
No, she's awesome.
Do you have kids?
No, I didn't. We have 2 dogs and a cat.
Oh, that's
So
smart.
Those are our kids.
Yeah, those are kind of the precursor to kids. That's good.
Yeah, right.
So when you go away to college, how far is your college from your home?
Not far at all. It's like 20 minutes from my parents' home, and she went to the same college too.
Oh, so when she found out you were going there, she decided to go there too?
Yeah, she followed me. No, I don't think that went into it. She was kind of already planning on going there. In general, it's a close college. There's not much around this area.
And you lived there on campus or around campus?
No, I lived at home. Just trying to save some money.
You made the commute. Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. Yeah. You have a girlfriend in high school and you keep her all through college. That's really cool.
She's awesome. She's my best friend.
Yeah, more than that, man. Your Instagram, it's cool. And then I go to her Instagram and there's even more pictures of you than you have of her on yours. It's pretty amazing. It's cool.
Yeah.
So why did your mom get into CrossFit?
So she was. I just lost the camera. I don't know where it went. I lost you. Hold on.
We can see you.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
I don't know where it went. Hello?
Take your time. There's no rush.
There we go.
People who listen to this podcast are probably like on an assault bike or something.
So actually, my mom was into like triathlons, and she did a couple of half Ironman, and she just kind of was always training and working out. My dad was a power lifter for a long time, so kind of working out has always been a thing in our family. And actually, my wife's mom was into CrossFit, and that's kind of how we knew about it. But my mom was the first one to actually, from our family, like pull everyone into it. And she always just would jump around from different things, whether it be triathlons or just pure running or just like boot camps and stuff like that. And she had a friend invite her to a CrossFit class, and she took advantage of the free Saturday morning classes for like a year. And through that time, she just kind of pulled my whole family in. So we had a whole family going to the gym and everything.
What was the name of the gym?
The old gym that I used to go to was called Fort Wright, and it was in Northern Kentucky. Yeah.
And the new one, the one you currently attend?
It's called CrossFit Conjugate.
And so that's fascinating. So Emily's mom did CrossFit, which
Bailey's
kind of
mom.
like, Bailey's mom. I was like all proud because I was using her name. Bailey's mom was doing CrossFit, and that's how your mom found out about it. And then your mom started doing it, and then you started doing it. And did your powerlifting dad be like, "Hey, this is bullshit"?
No, he was into it. He liked it. He still was always into the bench press and stuff, and still benches to this day and stuff. So that's definitely his like favorite thing to do. But he was all for it. He just likes working out. He
didn't jump on the "it's dangerous" rhetoric, or "this is nonsense," or "you can't kick pull-ups," or he didn't do any of that old school
No, he was
shit?
never into that.
All right. Well, damn.
Before I joined, though, I kind of thought I knew nothing about CrossFit at all, and I was like, why are they resting? Like I was watching like Rich Froning do a games workout, and he was like almost done, and he like stopped to rest, and I was like, why is he resting? Like he's almost done. Just keep going and all that stuff. But just eat those words every day now.
Right. Did you figure out why he was resting?
Yeah, a lot of times.
So, what state are you in? Did you say Kentucky?
So I live in the greater Cincinnati area, so we cross around from Ohio to Kentucky all the time. But right now I currently live in Kentucky.
Okay. And you were born there?
Yeah.
And your parents are still together?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
That's weird.
They're good parents. I'm very thankful for the parents I have.
Sounds like it. And what was your first sort of like sports? It sounds like both your parents were like moving, so you had good role models for moving. But what was your first like sort of, where did you dip your toe in?
I played football and baseball in high school. I played like basketball growing up before high school and stuff, but I like hurt my ankles too much, so I just stopped playing basketball. But mainly I was just football and baseball.
And were you good at either of them?
I was okay. It wasn't anything special. Just, I don't know. Did what I could.
What were you good at? Were there any sports you were good at?
I mean, I was solid at football and baseball, but I just didn't excel. Like, I didn't have like a bunch of like offers or anything anywhere. I actually hurt my back pretty bad in high school, so I sat out my entire junior year from sports. And then senior year, just kind of pretty much had fun. I knew that it wasn't really going to amount to a scholarship anywhere, and just kind of accepted that.
Did you recognize you had you were stronger than everyone else in the weight room in high school?
I definitely recognized that I had like I definitely loved the gym, loved working out more than most of the other athletes that were like in the high school and stuff. And even when I went to the one semester of football, basically, I was definitely into the weight room more than everybody else too.
Okay, so you like that kind of movement.
Yeah, yeah.
And then so you get into CrossFit, and you get into CrossFit. Let me see if I can figure it out. When you're about 18 years old.
Yeah.
And when do you start thinking about it as something that's competitive? Right away, or does it take a little while?
It definitely took a while. I didn't necessarily think I was going to be like a competitor or doing any like cool competitions or anything like that until probably like 2016. And then I got like humbled real quickly by the Open, and I just realized I wasn't at all what I thought I was going to be. But I ended up qualifying for regionals in 2017 and 2018. Was like the first time that I like made some progress there.
Did it light a fire under you at all in 2016 when you didn't do as well in the Open as you imagined you would be?
Yeah, definitely. I thought I was going to be able to at least go to regionals and go there. And I actually went to the Central East Regional in 2016, and I honestly like hated it. Like I like felt like I was almost embarrassed to be watching, which is like just my personal thing. Like obviously they need fans and stuff. But I was just like, I want to be on the floor. Like I don't want to be sitting here watching. So I made it a goal to be there at the following year, and I was.
Were you surprised when you felt that way? I'm assuming you went there thinking you were just going to kick back, enjoy, watch, and then next thing you know, it's like it's uncomfortable. Was that a surprise to you?
Yeah, definitely. I didn't even realize it. I thought it was going to be just like a cool event, like you said, and I was just going to watch these like super fit people work out. But it was like really motivating just to see them like on the floor and me not be there. And I was like, man, I want to be there so bad. Like, definitely had that.
Brian, do you ever get that? Like all the years I worked all the events, I never ever like it was the exact opposite. Like I was glad it wasn't me.
I like. I've never aspired to compete at that level. I like doing a competition once in a while, but no, when I'm at those events, I'm pretty happy not to be involved.
You don't get envious or like, fuck, I wish maybe I should have like started training harder 10 years ago and I could do this. And
FOMO.
No, doesn't happen for me. Not like that. Not with that.
What's the biggest limiting factor you have for not being better?
Right now it's my job.
By the way, let me rephrase that so people don't fucking lose their mind. I understand how good he is. He's a freak of nature, but he clearly has a lot of things going on. We started off by saying he works, so that's what I'm referencing that to. I'm not saying that by any means is he not one of the fittest humans who walks the planet. Proceed, Zach.
Thank you. But I definitely think I'm limited by my job right now. I mean, immediately, 8 to 9 hours of my day is handed over to a company just to do things that don't affect my fitness or actually could make it worse. So I'm just kind of always doing different things other than what I would want to be doing in that moment. So that's definitely hindering it.
What's your job?
I'm an associate medical sales rep here in Cincinnati.
What's that?
So we sell respiratory devices and oxygen. So like CPAP, BiPAP, non-invasive ventilators and oxygen.
Non-invasive ventilators. So business is good.
For the full sales rep, yes.
Because they get a commission.
Yeah, as an associate, I'm just helping out the main sales rep right now. So I'm not getting anything fancy.
Do you like doing that? I'm going to ask you something deeply personal here, and I apologize, kind of. Like, is part of you like, yo, like these fucking people we're selling this shit to, they could just be, if I could just get 15 minutes of talking to them, I could make it so they don't need this stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I think about that all the time. a funny story I always say was I was setting up this patient with what's called a portable oxygen concentrator. It's they carry it around over their shoulder so they can have oxygen without dragging tanks around. And he was extremely obese, like 600 pounds. Like he had like a huge gurney and everything. Like he was super overweight. And we have to like check that they don't smoke. And I was like, so just to verify, like you don't smoke, right? And he's like, oh, I would never put that poison in my body, ever. And I'm like, I mean, in my head, I'm thinking about all like the bad food he's eaten and how much worse like that would be for him. Like, I always laugh about that.
Yeah, that is so. So you actually deal with the people. I imagine you behind a desk. Like I imagine you behind a desk. You actually see the people who use your gear.
For the most part, we kind of travel around to different doctors' offices and just build like relationships and make sure that everything is running smoothly on their end and our end and stuff. But for one particular hospital here in Cincinnati, I deliver the oxygen to the patients at the hospital when they're discharging.
Wow. And are the majority of those people obese?
I would say yeah.
So basically
Definitely not
they're
healthy.
addicted. They're basically carbohydrate addicts.
Yeah, between that and smoking. Like there's people who are in horrible conditions, like with extreme cases of COPD, and they still smoke. And they're like, well, I'm already here. So like, why should I stop? It's like a horrible mindset to have.
Why can't you smoke when you have oxygen? You'll explode?
Yes. Yeah. Basically.
Is that really true? Like, or they just
Yeah.
say that shit? Is that like, hey, don't swim after you eat food, and you're like, yeah, fuck you?
No, it's
Or is
definitely it's combustible. So there's been multiple times when patients all the time will be like, I don't want oxygen. I had a friend blow up from smoking or from oxygen. I'm like, well, they didn't blow up from oxygen. Like they were smoking next to the oxygen and it combusted, and that's the problem.
Wait a second. So you actually know of stories where someone was smoking with this while they were getting oxygen and something bad happened?
Yeah, we have to 100% tell them that they cannot smoke by the oxygen. Yeah.
And are you dead if that happens?
I mean, it'll blow up. Like there was someone who told me that they knew somebody who they had pulled into the driveway, and all of a sudden, like the second level of the house exploded, and everyone in that room died. And I was like, I don't. That seems a bit extreme, but apparently it happened.
Yeah, I mean, one of those big. What you would think. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea what the explosion looked like, but I've seen some videos, not with oxygen, but on YouTube, where there's like a propane tank at a gas station.
Yeah.
And they have a camera on it, and like a few seconds before, I don't know, a few milliseconds before it explodes, you actually see the trees getting pulled into it because this thing's drawing in so much oxygen.
Wow.
Prior to the explosion. and then the gas station's gone. Like
yeah,
the whole
right.
like the whole it's gone. It's
right.
just flattened. But
I
that's
definitely
propane,
don't think
but
it's that big.
man. Okay, so you do that and how long have you had that job?
Pretty much exactly a year. So it was July of last year.
And did you work before then?
Yeah, it was just like odd jobs. It wasn't anything like, this is like the best job I've ever had. I just kind of working, like I worked as a valet, like stuff like that. Just weird little jobs.
And do you have any side hustles going on? Like, are you selling T-shirts, or do you sell kids programming like me? Or are you trying to make a few dollars on YouTube like me? Like, what, you got any like side hustles going?
I do not. No side hustles. Pretty much training and working my job just take up all my time.
No personal coaching?
No. No, just trying to focus on, one, just the job itself takes up a lot of my time. And then as soon as I leave there, I'm pretty much going to the gym. My only, like, technically off days are Saturday and Sunday, and most of those are just spent training the whole time. So I don't have a whole lot of free time right now.
Did you ever get anything beyond your level 1?
No, I did not. I was going to get my L2, and then it just kind of never ended up happening, and I actually let the L1 expire.
I'd like to circle back to your L1, but first I want to talk more about helping with your finances. Have you thought about moving in with your parents?
Yeah, definitely. During COVID, actually right before COVID, we moved out, and that was kind of bad timing because obviously the whole world shut down.
So you and your girlfriend were living. You and your fiance were living at your mom's house.
So she didn't technically like live with us, but she definitely stayed with us a lot.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Did she have a key to the house?
No, she did not, but she knew the garage code.
And your parents wouldn't trip if they came home and she was in there like making something in the kitchen. Like you guys are tight.
No, not at all. I think my mom
Okay.
likes my wife more than me sometimes.
Probably. Do you have any sisters?
Yeah, I have a sister. Her name is Megan.
Oh, well then your mom got her fill. I don't think that's true. Your mom loves you. Okay. So,
Thank you.
so did we, and I'm serious. I mean, until I was 34, I was in and out of my mom's house. Like I would go there as much as I could so I could focus on what I wanted to focus on and make her pay the bills. If I would get kicked out and then come back and get kicked out and come back. But I was like you. Like I was on a mission, and I was disciplined and I had good habits. You know.
Yeah.
But why not do that? Like if you don't have kids, damn, you have 2 dogs too. That's going to be a hard sale to go back to the house. Oh, we have 2 dogs. And how many cats?
We have 1 cat. 2 dogs, 1 cat.
Have you guys thought about moving back in with your parents? Or her parents?
No. We like being on our own. We like our space, and we like to have our own spot to be in. My parents also have 2 other dogs, so that whole 4 dogs would sound miserable.
Yeah, that's a lot of piss and shit. What kind of dogs do you have?
We have a golden retriever and an Australian shepherd.
I came home with 3 Great Danes, and I don't know if you're familiar with that dog, but they killed a whole section of my mom's yard just with urine. They just peed down a whole section of the yard, and Danes will pee like for 2 minutes. It's crazy.
Dang.
Yeah, they just completely destroyed a section of your yard, but I never got kicked out for that. It was other stuff. So why did you take your L1 and when did you take it?
I took my L1 probably 2015. I had showed up to the gym and I just liked being there, and I was there a lot, and the owner of the gym came up and just like expressed interest in me potentially coaching. And originally our plan was for me to coach the 5 a.m. classes, and that never happened. So I kind of took over for the afternoon and coached probably like 3 classes a day all through college.
Did they pay for your L1?
He paid for half of it, I think.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And did you like your L1? What were your thoughts? What was your reaction to the L1?
Yeah, I liked it. I actually, full honesty, I failed my first test for the L1, so I had to retake that. And that was kind of weird because like in my head, like I could do all the movements. I knew how to like assess, look at someone and like figure out what was going wrong with them. But just like the test itself, I guess the words were confusing to me at one point, and I just didn't get enough of them right. So when I slowed down the second time and really thought about it, I passed it, no problem.
Words are confusing to me sometimes too, especially when they come out of Brian's mouth.
But in my head, I was thinking about like how some of the people there, like, I don't know, it's egotistical to think that just because I can do the movements does means that I should have an L1. But there are people there who definitely passed who like couldn't do all the stuff, which I have since learned doesn't matter. But at the time when I was young and dumb, I definitely thought that should be more important, is like being able to do stuff.
It'll be interesting to see over the years how the material you learned in the L1 changes in value to you. Like, you know, like if you're a games athlete, like it's one thing, but if you're a doctor, let's say you're a 45-year-old doctor who's been practicing for 10 years, the L1 is something totally different.
Or if you're a parent.
And it's the same information. Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Or if you're a parent, I think that it takes a new meaning on.
Yeah. I mean, you can point it at anything you want and make shit better. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So, did anyone else in your family take your L1? Did your mom take it?
No, just me. I was the only one that was interested in like coaching and stuff.
Hey, you would think that maybe when you're at the games, you can say to Dave or someone, you can be like, hey, you know, it would be I don't know. Maybe I'm setting you up for failure. But they should give all games athletes a free L1.
I don't know. That's for you to talk to Dave.
Yeah, just be like, yo, like you get $1,000 credit to any class you want in the CrossFit ecosystem.
That'd be
like
cool.
that, Brian?
I
That'd be
I love it because not even every place that makes a game gets prize money, but that's a pretty good value that you can add on to the accomplishment of qualifying for it.
And who better than to represent CrossFit, the methodology and the certificate than Zach Watts,
Hey,
right?
there you go. That's good.
Seven. That's
If
one
I
of your
walked up
best
to
ideas
Dave,
ever.
that was a good idea.
It's probably one I presented to Greg and Dave and Nicole 1,000 times that never took off.
If I walked up to Dave, he'd have no idea who I was.
I liked, maybe I don't know if that's true. He probably think you were Josh Bridges.
I don't know. At the Mac, he
You
walked
look a
up to
little
me.
bit like Josh Bridges.
At the Mac, he walked up to me and said, "Are you Jason Hopper?" I was like, "Nope," and walked away.
Is that a true story?
Yeah, it was in the warm-up area.
I'm sure he said sorry.
Maybe he did. Maybe he did it after he walked away, but he just like walked away. I was like, "All right, that was cool."
The man of few words.
Yeah, right.
Did you speak to any of these guys that you qualified with when you were at the Mid-Atlantic? Hopper, Panchik, Medeiros, Mayer?
Yeah. During the competition, it's just kind of like very brief conversation, like in the warm-up area. Just everyone's trying to be serious and just focus on what they obviously have to do. But immediately after the competition, everyone was so social and laughing and joking and just talking in the back room while we were waiting to get drug tested.
How was that? How was the drug test?
It was good, yeah. No news is good news, so it was good.
And I've gone through this before in other podcasts, but it's basically you stand there and pee into a cup, and there's a dude like who makes sure like your hand is touching your junk and nothing else.
Yeah, he's getting a full view of everything down there.
How far away is he from you?
I'd probably say like 4 feet.
So if he's 4 feet, so like his eyes are like five. He's just out of reach from touching your penis. His eyes are like 5 feet away. If I were to take a rule, like a measuring tape, and stretch it out from your penis to his eyes, it's 5 feet away.
Give or take.
Because if I were the guy making the drug test, that like if I was like the USADA, that would be, I wouldn't just have something like so simple in there as like you have to stand within 6 feet of the person. I'd be like your eyes need to be within 6 feet of the penis if you drew a straight line from your eyes to the penis, and it would be like the driver's license. And if you wear glasses, you have to have your glasses on. I mean, you want to lead. I mean, this thing has to be thorough. Is that your first drug test?
Yeah,
Go ahead,
it is,
sorry.
and I was really excited about it, honestly. But my question is, who wants to do that job? Like, who would apply for that job?
That's a whole nother show, Zach. Holy shit. You took my brain to a fucking really weird spot. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just stay focused. Wow. I wonder if you get promoted to that job. I wonder if there's like another, or what if it's like this? It's like, what if like they have three positions? Like you could be the guy who takes blood. You could be the guy that takes a saliva sample. Or you could be the guys who watch people pee. And you're like, no, I want to watch the guys pee. I want that one. I want that one.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's a sexist job too. Like that job, they don't give that to women, right? That's one of those jobs that like where us males we dominate, right? Like
I have no
women
idea.
can't watch it. Have you ever seen a woman? Yeah.
That's my first time being drug tested. It was just the guy.
Yeah. So you said you were excited because it was like some sort of validation that like you were a professional athlete now.
Yeah, definitely. So I went to the Granite Games in 2019 on a team, and I was with Alex Parker, Meredith Root, and Ethan Helbig, which are all individual games athletes. And so we're on a 4-person team, and literally all 3 of them got pulled to be drug tested except for me. And I was like, just go ahead and test me. Like, I'm on the same team. Like, just test me too. And so I took that as just kind of like they don't think that I matter pretty much. So, like, being tested, it's like, this guy's doing something that maybe he's cheating. And so that's my thought process on it. So I was excited.
Who was the I know who Meredith and Alex Parker are. We've had them on the podcast. Fantastic people. Who was the other guy you said?
Ethan Helbig. I think he went in 2018, maybe 2017. Brian, maybe find out.
Brian, do you know his name? Look at Brian. Even Zach's giving you orders now. Everyone just
Yeah.
Brian,
Brian
do you know
knows
that name?
everything. Brian knows everything.
Do you know that name?
Yeah, he was
Brian?
he was a 5th place qualifier out of the Atlantic Regional 2018. He was there. I was at the competition. You weren't there. It was the third week, and we went to the first 2 together, but not the third one.
See, he knows
Where was
everything.
I? Did I get grounded by Greg?
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Did I invite you to it? And then didn't show?
No. At that point, I was kind of. I mean, we'd had such a good time the first 2 weeks. I just assumed we'd do it again. I lived in Florida, and I was going there, and you're like, I can't go to this one, but you can go there. I'll get you on the list. You can just get in all access pass and study up on the athletes.
Fuck, I'm a good dude. So even back then, so you've been working with. Do you remember the first elite athlete you worked with? I mean, because obviously Meredith Root, Alex Parker, and this Ethan Hembelberg, they're obviously good because Brian's heard of them. Do you remember the first time you were like, oh shit, they're like you were around other just phenomenal CrossFitters?
There's definitely other instances, but the first one that comes to my mind was one day I woke up and I had a random text message from some random number, and it was like, hey, this is Chandler Smith. I got your number from a friend. I'm passing through Cincinnati. Is there any chance that you'd want to work out today? And I like shot up out of bed and I was like, yes, like tell me what time that you're going to be there and I will meet you there. So I got to work out with him, and
That's
like
awesome.
He's an awesome guy.
Awesome.
Yeah. And we just talked pretty much the whole time, and just like basically it was just picking his brain on like how to get to that level and how to just move up and potentially be a games athlete one day. And so even now, like I went to the games I went to watch the games in 2019, and I like saw him, and he immediately like gave me this huge hug. He's like, dude, good to see you. Like, so happy you're here. Like all this stuff. So he's an awesome guy.
Did you inappropriately stare at his nub?
No, I did not.
Did you even notice it? Like, did you see when he grabbed the bar, like he's got less purchase on it? I mean, I haven't noticed it. I haven't seen him.
No, I didn't even think about it.
Because when I watch from, have you seen it, Brian? Is he missing a little piece of his finger?
Yeah, probably 1/3 of an inch or 1/2 inch, maybe.
Because whenever I see him compete, I get close to the TV set and I'm like, I want to see I want to see him grabbing the bar, and if it gives him less purchase. I mean, shit, you can't tell by his performance that that he lost a little bit of his finger.
Right.
Which one is it?
I think it's his ring finger.
Oh, you were staring.
I remember the post that he made that was just like, hey, my games hopes are over. Like I just like cut my finger off, and like it's ring finger. I don't know.
Did you watch the fight last night, Zach?
No, I did not. I saw the update of Connor's leg, though. The video of it.
You did see that?
Yeah, it's gross.
Did you see it in slow motion?
Yeah, I did.
It was like his leg was at a 90. It was like his ankle was at a 90 degree. Is that 90 degrees? Yeah, 90 degree angle from his shin. It was like it didn't even make sense. Your brain couldn't even process it.
Yeah, anytime that happens and like they go to step on the ground with their broken, like his example, like his shin bone is touching the ground, I just can't imagine how bad that would hurt.
What's crazy is as soon as like I was watching TV in a room full of people and I yelled as soon as it happened, and as he's yelling, I'm yelling, but the referee and Dustin, I don't think Dustin saw it, and I don't think the referee saw it, but I don't know how they could not have seen it, and yet they still let him get punched a few more times.
Right.
I'm like, dude, this fight needs to be stopped.
Yeah.
And I like Connor, but I don't think it was. I think he called Dustin's wife a hoe or something, and that kind of damaged me. That I'm okay with calling people names, but calling someone's wife a hoe is a little much.
Yeah.
Even for me. You call someone's wife a hoe, Zach?
I would never do that.
I wouldn't even do it behind closed doors.
No.
I don't think.
Unless it's a joke.
What's just a joke? That he did that?
No, I'm saying like unless you like jokingly call someone a hoe just to be funny.
Right. And if someone got upset, that would be my default position too. I'd be like, no, I was just kidding. Just being funny. Do you have any sponsors?
Yeah, I do. So I'm sponsored by Nova Labs, Nova 3 Labs, and also Brute Strength. are my like official sponsors. I'm hoping to capitalize on a couple more here soon.
What Nova Labs is like something you eat that makes you stronger? A meal supplement?
Yeah, it's a supplement company. It's they have a little bit of everything supplement wise.
And Brute Strength, they basically do programming and training.
Yeah, they do.
So basically, you get good enough to a point where you're one of the 30 fittest human beings who's walking the planet, and they're like, okay, we'll give you programming for free, but you have to wear this shirt and put this bumper sticker on your car? Something like that?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, you must have been stoked. I bet you that shit's expensive without that.
Yeah. So I had a friend who got working with Coach L through Brute Strength a couple years ago, and he was just talking about how awesome it was. And he was like just trying to like level up to be a games athlete and stuff, and he had a lot of progress. He ended up going up to the games as the Central Beast. His name was Zach Souter. They went in 2019, and so he kind of inspired the Brute Strength movement with me, obviously himself, me, and also his brother Ryan Souter all joined Brute Strength with Coach L, and we've been working together for, it was probably like in total like 2.5 years. We took like obviously 2020 off because there was no point of trying to program when I couldn't even get into a gym. So we started that back up after we kind of got loosened up and back into training.
When we were interviewing Cole Mertens about a week ago, do you know who that is? He qualified in,
yeah,
I don't know what region. He's the dude who's 5'4".
He qualified at Granite Games. He got like 5th, I think.
And he has a day job too, crazy day job, crazy.
What's he do?
And he's a pig farmer. He manages. I think he. I don't want to misquote it, but I think he said there's 15,000 pigs.
I don't think they're all.
Pigs?
I don't think they're all at the same farm, but I think that the family's farms have them. Yeah, thousands of them. Yeah.
No,
you think they're all at the
really?
same
You don't think
one?
they're all in the same?
15,000 at one? I don't know. Maybe that's true.
Boy, can you imagine how
That'd
much
be a
urine
huge
that is?
field. 15,000
huge field.
pigs.
Yeah. Wow, I should have asked him that. What do they do with all the feces? Because my 3 Great Danes killed my mom's yard. What do you do with 15,000 pigs of urine? That's got to be an issue. Someone's going to comment in the YouTube about that and explain that to us. That's cool. That'll be a good little tidbit. Remind me to ask Colton that next time we have him on. That's ridiculous. There's got to be a way to make money off that. There's got to be some value to all that urine and all that feces, I would think.
Do you remember on Dodgeball, the movie Dodgeball with like Vince Vaughn, when the coach is like, is it necessary for me to drink my own urine? No, but it's sterile and I like the taste.
Have you noticed games athletes are really good with quotes?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, Josh Bridges and Matt Fraser are always doing quotes, movie quotes. You don't do movie quotes, Brian, do you?
It's not my area of expertise.
Yeah, not mine either. My brain doesn't even work that way. But at least Zach quoted a great movie.
It's a good one
that I've heard of. So Colton basically, talking to him, you get this sense of there's nothing else important in life except for the CrossFit Games, and like basically he's gonna go until he dies. Like, I mean, his commitment oozes off of him, and he's not like he's emphatic about it. He's the antithesis of a Conor McGregor type. Do you have that?
I've definitely wanted to be at the CrossFit Games and also win the CrossFit Games for a long time. I even I used to, unfortunately, put future CrossFit Games champion in my Instagram bio, until I was humbled very quickly by how good everyone was, and also made fun of by all my friends and my wife. But early on, I just dreamed of it, and I thought that would be like just so cool. I pretty much live by the quote, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Like that is like something I think about all the time. So being able
Say it again.
If you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I think that's like just really inspiring. Just because like it would be amazing to be able to be in a point to where just like you can provide for your like family through doing something that you love, like CrossFit. So I wholeheartedly want to be able to do that. And being a CrossFit Games champion is just like obviously the top echelon of the sport, of the fittest of the fit. So that's definitely a goal of mine. I do unfortunately have some holes like running and stuff, but I'm going to work every day until I can get there.
Today was the Wimbledon Finals. I have no interest in sports like tennis and golf and baseball and football and basketball, stupid shit. But my son plays tennis, and I'm trying to take an enjoyment in tennis. So when his tennis coach, Adam, told me that the Wimbledon Finals were today, I got up at 6 in the morning and I put on the Wimbledon Finals. And the guy who won it, his name is...
Novak Djokovic.
Damn, Brian. Novak Djokovic. And he basically tied Federer and Nadal for 20...
majors.
20 majors. It's fucking insane. And he's younger than them, and it's nuts. And I was actually a little bit moved by it. But basically, this ties into what you said about what you put in your in your profile on Instagram, and maybe you'll switch it now that you hear the story. When he was 7 years old in his bedroom, he built a replica of the Wimbledon trophy. Like just with like paper. It sounds like it was like paper and popsicle sticks. And now, at the age of, I don't know how old he is. Do you know how old he is, Brian?
I think he's 35.
He can't be past. Yeah, he just won his 6th Wimbledon. But at 7, he built that trophy in his room just as a I want this.
Yeah.
I mean, of course people are gonna laugh at your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Of course people are gonna laugh at your dreams, right?
Yeah.
It's I mean, you've already done the stupid part, the most stupid part by chasing them. You might as well just go all the way. You know what I mean?
I agree.
I mean that facetiously. Like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a crazy story. I couldn't believe. And he said, I've told the story a million times, but I have to tell it again. And he told the story, and that really moved me. And just from hearing that, I kind of like tennis now. I think I'll start like watching tennis.
Yeah.
I never thought that I would ever like tennis.
I think anytime like you're in a pursuit of like something, like anyone who wants to be great at something has to visualize that they're in that spot in order to like be motivated to go. Like if you think like, oh, that's not going to be possible, then it's not going to be possible. And I fully always think of like being positive and like visualizing things like that. And I mean, one time I visualized just going to regionals, and the next year I was there. Visualized going to the games, and I'm going to be there. So it's just another thing to tackle.
How does that work?
What?
Is the world magic? Why does that work?
I think you just like put your priorities in line and you work towards them. And if you always have that like goal in your mind of I want to be able to do this, and just always think of that, then you can find that motivation when the days are tough and you don't want to do the work to be able to be there. Like you're not going to get there without the work.
But why does visualizing work? Do we know why?
Brain's a powerful thing. I don't know.
Like, is it magic? Because you still have to do the work. You can't just visualize it, right?
Right.
When you snatch, do you visualize beforehand? Like before you did that 310 at the semifinals, did you visualize yourself landing it?
Yeah, definitely. Pretty much anytime there's a big lift, like I'm visualizing hitting it and being done with it after that. I'm not going to think about how hard the lift is going to be. Like it's just like, all right, let's clean it, let's jerk it, or let's get it off the ground and get it overhead.
Do you actually see yourself doing it in your head?
I think about the end result more so than like actually seeing myself doing it.
Well, and how do you think about it? Because I don't visualize, but like my son visualizes. He'll be like, "Hey, I see my next skateboard. It's got blue wheels and yellow stickers on the bottom," and I'm like, "Holy shit!" Like when I close my eyes, I just see darkness. How do you visualize it? Like, how does that work? When you say like you visualize the end, catching it or standing up, like.
I'm definitely thinking of like completing the lift, like the final product of the lift, like for snatch or clean and jerk would be putting it overhead. So like I'm just thinking of like standing up with it, catching it in a good spot, being able to support the weight and stand there like to complete the lift. Because if you aren't visualizing you completing the lift, like there's no chance you're gonna get it. Like at that point, you just don't think you can do it. So like, why try?
Have you always visualized?
Yeah, I think in sports, like growing up in sports and stuff, all the coaches are just like, you have to visualize it. Like if you're like playing linebacker, you're visualizing the plays, you're visualizing like where the quarterback's going to go. Like you're visualizing like every single play of every single quarter, to like prepare for it. So I think visualizing is huge, and just like, I think it's a confidence booster. So like when something does happen, so like for sport examples, like when the running back happens to do something, like you've already had that thought. You've already thought like, I know what to do based off of what happens. So pulling a barbell off the floor, I know obviously this is like hours and hours and hours of technique work and confidence building, but like I know once it passes my knee, I need to throw my hips, make solid hip contact, pull into the bar as fast as I can, catch it in a good position, make sure it's stable, stand up. So like all of these different things, just going through, making sure that everything is perfect. Because in lifts like that, specifically Olympic lifting, like there's no room for error. Like if you're off by a millimeter, like you're gonna miss the lift.
You just serenaded Brian. Like if, I don't know what he's into, men or women, but if someone stood underneath his bedroom window and was like, Brian, and strummed a guitar and said all those points of the lift, Brian would come down with an erection, like come downstairs and let him in.
But especially,
like you should have seen his face.
Especially, it's nice to hear someone who snatches 315 talk about all the things that everyone who's starting snatching hears. It's like you have to hit those fundamental points. It doesn't matter if you're doing it with a PVC pipe for the first time or you have the capacity to do a world-class snatch. The points of performance are the same.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I think like for new athletes trying to snatch, like you can only get so far with crappy technique, and you hit a wall. And as soon as like the technique is fixed and you just have that one thing that snaps, like you instantly PR, like instantly will get like a new record based off of that one thing. And like if you get multiple of those things over the course of years, like you'll be snatching 300 in no time. Easy as that.
He should be a motivational speaker.
Sevan,
that's my side gig.
Sevan, can we investigate his competition history a little?
Sure. I was going to start talking about focus. I was getting into myself a little too much. Go ahead, Brian. You go
well, so Zach, it's difficult to keep track of all the competitions, of course. But as far as I know, you did regionals 2 years. You did that one team competition on the Granite Games. You went to Brazil one time, and then you've had the Mid-Atlantic. I don't know of any other live competitions that you've done at that level, at least. Mm-hmm. Are we in the right ballpark there?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. There's just some like little ones that we like that have gone through. Like I did a 3-person team with Ryan and Zach Souter at Wadapalooza, elite team on there.
Actually, the year
was a good.
But the year that you did that elite team of 3 men's competition was insane. There were like 50 games athletes dispersed amongst these teams. Most of them all paired up with each other. The Panchik brothers all did it together. The Ben Smith and his brothers all did it together. Froning had a team with Hobart and I think Matt Hewitt. Like there were a ton of good teams there.
Yeah, Noah Olson had a team. I remember talking to him.
Brent Fikowski,
and we did really well. Like, yeah, we did well. I want to say I don't remember exact placement, but in that field we were still. I want to say it was 8th, but it gets better and better as the years go on. You know, eventually I'll be saying that we won that competition.
Okay, so you had the 2 regionals years and 32nd both year, I think. And then,
yep.
Do you feel,
32nd place 2 years in a row?
Yeah. So the placing didn't
out of 40?
Probably 40.
Oh shit!
So the placing maybe not.
That's like a bad wow, by the way, not a good wow, Zach.
Yeah, I figured.
the placing was the same year to year, but did you feel better or more like a different athlete at all by that second year?
Yeah, definitely. I'll just go ahead and make me sound even worse. 2017, a bunch of people withdrew because they tore their pecs. So technically I didn't beat all those people either. They just didn't finish the competition. So it might be 32nd on the leaderboard, but who knows? They would have probably beat me if they would have stayed in the whole weekend. So 2018, I definitely felt better overall. like the weekend didn't start off hot. We did 333, which is not a good workout for me.
Do you do well on Linda?
And just like I think I was just middle of the pack. I didn't do anything special at regionals at all. I think I was mainly there, like I was mainly just happy to be there. I was not in the mindset of actually competing. And obviously that's not how you should be, but it was just a mindset switch. I don't know if it was me not feeling like I belonged there or what it was, but it just didn't have the outcome that I wanted all those years.
So, I think you're a good demographic for this because there was a lot of people between 20 and maybe 27 years old in 2018 who were trying to get to regionals or maybe had been to regionals that were pretty disappointed when the season switched. And so I'm guessing you could easily fall into that category, but you did choose to compete a little bit the next season despite the changes, right?
Yeah. So I did Brazil, which was like the first time that I felt like I belonged, and I felt like I can actually be a games athlete one day. Like this isn't in the cards this weekend for Brazil, but I beat a lot of good people in different workouts. I competed against like a ton of games athletes there, and that was.
Wait, isn't that an oxymoron? You went to Brazil and you said you beat a lot of good people.
Wait. You have to hear.
Well,
you have to know the
there's a ton of people there.
So these were the people ahead of him.
Sorry.
It was Will Morad, who's going to the games this year. Saxon Panchik, games this year. Spencer Panchik, barely missed it. Sean Sweeney, Alexander Caron. So all four of the 5 games athletes that were ahead of him from this year.
Okay, I was just taking a dig at Brazil. I still think
none of whom are Brazilian, by the way.
Hey, real quick before you go on. Sorry, don't lose your thought. That pec tear workout. Those were like ring muscle ups or something, right? That caused that.
Ring dip.
Well, Yeah, so
ring dip. Okay.
I think it was a combination of both. So they released the workouts for regionals, and like as an athlete, I tested the workouts multiple times. But there was the 21-15-9 of ring dips and dumbbell snatches, but there was also 21-15-9 ring muscle ups and overhead squats with the dumbbell. So that's a lot of pec pressing, and if you're practicing it multiple times, add in the intensity, there's pretty much no chance of survival.
An excessive steroid use, and you have a No, I'm joking. 15 years I've been following the sport. I don't know. I've never seen it. A few people tested positive, so that's not even a funny joke. Sorry. Who edits this thing? Cut that part out. Go ahead, Brian. Okay, no, Zach, you were talking, or we were talking about Brazil before I derailed this.
Yeah. So I was saying just like Brazil was the first time that I had thought that I belonged in the competitive CrossFit space. I beat a lot of people in a lot of different workouts, met and hung out with a lot of them, and just realized that I'm just another one of them that could potentially compete. We go to Granite Games, do well at the Granite Games.
Why'd you choose to go on a team there?
I don't think I qualified, but I had been asked by Brute Strength to join the team, and like we had thought that would be a competitive place that we could qualify. And we had never even met before that competition. So being able to do as well as we did without actually practicing or anything, that was a very, very good experience. We were just like the first team to not qualify.
Was your team named the OPT Brutes? Is that you guys?
Yeah, that's us.
Okay. Yeah,
Why OPT? Why OPT Brutes? What's OPT? Like OPEX?
Yeah, it was not OPEX. It was Optimum.
So it's OPT because that was Michael Fitzgerald took over OPT when James came to the States, and he was coaching Meredith and Alex.
Yes. So it was a collaboration.
But aren't Brute? Oh, okay. So because Brute Strength and OPT basically are. I mean, I know they're not identical companies, but it was basically the merger of two companies' names, OPT, Brute Strength.
Yeah.
But Sevan, their team did really well at that competition because Krypton was first, Invictus X was second, the Central Beast, this guy Zach Sauter, who he's good friends with, was third. Don't Stop was Travis Williams' team was fourth, and their team was fifth. So they were right up there with a lot of the teams that were going to the games that year.
Would you ever consider? Are you preferring to be individual than being on a team?
Yeah.
Is it something you like more?
Yeah, I definitely like individual more. There's more pressure on it. There's more of like relying on yourself, making sure that like everything that you do matters. And the team is obviously relying on other people and just like working as a team. I don't mind the team stuff, but I like individual more.
So that was it. So you had that Brazil and you had the Grand Game team competition. And then the next season you didn't, which was the 2020 season that was cut short. You didn't participate in any of them. I was kind of surprised that you didn't do Mayhem since it's so close to you.
For 2020?
Yeah.
I thought Mayhem got canceled.
They didn't have it. They ran their event. They didn't have a team competition, but it was in January.
Oh.
They just told you that, Zach. They just told you that.
No, actually, I was supposed to be on a team for Mayhem. It was going to be me and Ryan Souter on a team. But I was supposed to do Atlas Games. So that was the first sanctional. And we were in Montreal, Canada that Thursday that the world shut down.
So was I. I was there, probably in the same room as you. Didn't know it.
We would have met. And I would have won that competition. So
that competition was going to be so fun. There were a lot of good guys there and a lot of young guys.
Yeah.
That was the competition you guys all flew to, and then once you got there, it got canceled?
Yep.
It doesn't even make any
Crazy,
sense.
dude. It went from like happening, everyone was building everything out, everything was there, checking in, and 6 hours later, it was like a ghost town in the city.
Yeah. We walked in and the rig was half built. Like, normally like you have this huge, awesome rig as you walk in. Like the rig was literally half built and like everything was laying down on the other side of it. And when we walked in and saw that, like it was just basically over already. There's no good news there.
It's surreal.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't get to compete at all that season.
No.
And it sounds like you had a difficult time training, at least for portions of that season, in terms of access to a gym.
Yeah. I also did, I don't know, I forget the year. It might have been I don't remember when it was, but I did the USA Functional Fitness competition where I went to Sweden to compete at Worlds there, where Zach Souter won the competition. I forget the guy's name, but his name's like Oldest. He
Latvia's
qualified.
national champion.
Yeah, he was there. I think he got like in the top three. Matt DeLugos, who was at the West Coast Classic, I think finished like third or fourth. So there's a lot of good guys there too. I think I finished fifth.
Okay, well that's cool. That's good that you stay relevant in the competitive, because I was coming up to this season, right? And you, obviously we have the Open, and the first workout didn't go so well for you relative to the rest of them. I made the mistake earlier in the week of assuming with Carolyn Prevost that was because of the wall walks. She said it was actually the double unders that slowed her down. But was that that workout was worth like 90% of your entire Open points?
Yeah, right.
You said that to Carolyn Prevost in our podcast we did with her.
There was a weird pattern amongst her workouts where her worst workout every competition had something that was inverted on her hands, but it just also coincidentally had double unders, and I assumed it was the hands, to handstand, hand walking, wall walks, and she corrected me.
I hear you, but you said that in our podcast? Oh, I don't even remember that. That's so weird. Okay, so back to you, Zach. So what? Yeah, I try to listen. I swear to God, I try my damnedest. Okay, Zach. So all Brian was saying, how did you fuck it up?
It was just the wall walks. I was, I don't know. Like I would say that it's a big guy problem, but Brent Fikowski apparently didn't have a problem with it. The first time, I honestly just didn't know. I didn't know what to expect on the first go around. I don't know. I just didn't know what to expect on it. And towards the end there, when the sets were larger, it definitely fatigued. I didn't have any problem with double unders. Double unders are normally a strength for me. But just overall, I honestly didn't know what to expect. I wasn't really training a whole lot before the Open. So after the first week, I was like, well, this is where I'm at. This is what I deserve. I haven't really
Yeah, I'm doing a podcast. Do you recognize that guy? He told a funny-ass story about you already.
Hey. Is anybody even tuning into your stupid fucking podcast?
Tell me, do you know who that is? He told a great story about you. Look immediately you go on the attack. What were you, in the Navy or something?
Does anybody even tune into that ridiculous thing?
He said you walked up to him, Dave.
Canceled yet?
He said you walked up to I am canceled on Instagram. He said you walked up to him at the Mid-Atlantic, and you're like, "Are you Jason Hopper?" And he's like, "No." And then you just turned around and walked away.
I was looking for Hopper. Hopper was crushing it. He was the only one who was worth finding.
Ouch.
In Dave's defense, Zach, you're really pixelated on my screen, so he probably can't. He probably won't recognize you again when he sees you at the game.
No hard feelings.
Hey, nice to see you, Zach.
Nice to see you too, Dave. Look forward to seeing you
in a few
soon.
weeks.
Yeah, right.
He said, "See." Anything else? Any clues you want to give us about any of the events, Dave?
Please.
Yeah, I'll give you a clue. Okay, so event number 3 includes...
He's a good dude. Okay, sorry. I always let Dave interrupt the show.
He's FaceTiming you regularly now?
Sorry, Brian. Nah. He texted me. And he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Podcast." And then he's like, "You're such a gamesista." And then he FaceTimes in because he needs some FaceTime.
Needs the attention.
Yeah, steal the show.
Okay, so wall walk's difficult, which whatever, and you do pretty well the rest of the way.
How tall are you, Zach? Sorry, I forget. I think you said in the beginning.
I'm 6 foot.
Ooh, another one.
You know what?
Brian.
So I did this.
Yeah.
I did this actually analysis today. I found the average of all the games, athletes' heights and weights this year, because it seemed like there were a lot of guys. I think there's a dozen guys 6 feet or taller, but it comes out to the same. The average listed height is still 5'10" and 197. It went up 2 pounds and no inches.
Wow.
Colton Mertens is fucking it all up. He's fucking it all up.
Seriously, I mean, like, I'm curious if it would change that much if you no offense at all, took out that as like the outlier.
Oh, he's gonna beat your ass, dude. You're screwed. There's gonna be video of a dude who's 5'4" who's like chewing on your neck.
No, I'm just curious. I'm kind of a numbers guy too, so that's just something I'm interested in.
Yeah, I could just remove that one and see. Yeah, move it up maybe quarter of an inch.
Brian, what's the shortest it's ever been? Has it ever been 5'8"? Like if you were to ask me, like, even though I've heard you say 5'10" forever, I would say that the average games athlete, the perfect height is 5'8", 5'9", 179 pounds.
Maybe way off, yeah, which is fine. But the
179 pounds.
How much do you weigh, Zach?
Like 205.
And
Yeah, dude, I don't ever remember hearing these numbers. Is it because I didn't do a podcast before with games athletes?
I don't know, but
Probably.
I don't actually have the totals of every average per year. I usually just look at the top 10, and it's always been right around 5'10", 195, 5'4.5", 145. Like, it's been pretty consistent. But there's outliers. Like, there's people in there that are 6'2" or 5'7", and there's women that are 5'7" or 5'1". But on average, they're right there. Anyway, so you get to the quarterfinals.
But Colton Mertens is sorry. We'll pick up the quarterfinals in a second. But Colton Mertens is the shortest person in the history of the CrossFit Games to compete,
For the men,
right?
I don't know for sure, but I would think so. Yeah.
And do you know who the tallest is? Is it like Asia Barto or
Whoever it is, it's probably not more than 6'3" and 6'4" at most.
Okay, all right. Quarterfinals.
What about like
with
Tommy
Zach
Hackenbruck?
Watts.
He's like 6'1",
Not quarterfinals
6'2".
with Zach Watts.
There's a lot of 6'1", 6'2" guys, but 6'3", I can't tell you a 6'3" guy who's been to the games for sure.
Tommy have you ever seen Tommy in person?
Yeah.
No, I have
Zach?
not.
I did.
He feels really big when you're next to him.
Broad shoulders,
I can
just
see why you
really,
would think
really
he's
broad
huge. Yeah, he's not like big, like super thick. He gives off big. Like, not fight him in a bar kind of big, that kind of big.
Anyway, so you get to quarterfinals, and I was kind of surprised when I saw your quarterfinal finishes. There's a lot of athletes have great events and a bad event here or there, but you just had very average placements. Between 154 and 286 on everything.
Mhm. I got 2 adjustments, unfortunately, which were obviously not intentional ways of cheating at all, but the push press and the dumbbells, they didn't my lockout on a couple of the reps on the push press and took a minor penalty on that. And then I took a major penalty on the sprint workout of the snatches and box jump overs because I cycled the first 9 snatches, and they didn't necessarily like my knee extension at the top of the rep, unfortunately. So that was very scary.
That was the one I was wondering about, because I would have thought that you'd have a pretty good time on that workout.
Yeah, that was my best workout in the beginning before the adjustments. And then when they adjusted it, it fell to that. But outside of like Olympic lifting, like I'm pretty consistent all around. I don't like necessarily excel in like really like do awesome in a lot of workouts. I'm like pretty consistent.
And it's a notable feature because, like I said, Cole Mertens is actually a great example, or Brent Fikowski is. There's certain guys that have this hit or miss kind of pattern to their workouts, and there's others that are just kind of in the mix every time, but don't often win an event. You seem to have the potential to win one specific thing, or at least top 3 in one specific thing that probably will show up at some point, and then just be pretty good at everything else without anything terrible.
Yeah. A definite strength of mine is explosive workouts. So like fast sprints and stuff like that, like anything like that.
So if we see workouts at the games,
I don't know if that's true what you said, Brian. I don't know if that's true. He got capped, dude.
That's not an explosive workout. That's a long workout.
No, but he's saying that you're not going to do terrible at anything, and that's like that's a glaring hole to get capped. I mean, just as much as it's glaring that he won the snatch with 310 and it's not even his PR. Most of the guys we've talked to set their PRs at the event. I mean, he's for a games athlete. I know we're talking minutia, but within that context of minutia, he's way out of balance.
You're getting ahead of me, Sevan. You're getting ahead of me.
Okay, sorry. I thought you were giving him a compliment. I had to beat him down.
No. I'm saying we get through, because what I really wanted to ask him was that we get through the quarterfinal and we see fairly consistent across the board. Semifinal we've already talked about, and we know that the running was kind of the outlier there from the negative side, and then we know historically that running's always tested at the games. But this year, because of the way that things were in the world, half of the guys had an online test in which running wasn't tested. And think about the situation. I don't know if you've thought about it. Like, what if that running workout ended up keeping you out, and you see the online program and you're like, man, if I didn't have to run, I probably could have got in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I had like a first, a fourth, a sixth, 12th, and a 27th or whatever at the MAC.
Sixth.
2 6s?
No, 26th.
Oh, 26. Thanks. I said 27, so I'll take it. So
you're consistently humble, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But if I look at like the other 5 events, like, and if you just put a normal, like a not running dominant workout in there, and let's say I even just get middle of the pack, like that sets me up way better for going into the final workout than potentially not making it in the final workout. Like if I just get, like, say I get 12th or 15th in that 4th workout instead of 26th, I'm sitting in a way better spot. And it just speaks on how much I need to work on running to fill that gap and complete my game, basically.
Yeah. So two
things, Brian, before you go on to the next thing. Sorry. One, good job getting that in, grinding the Brian Friend acts of comparing the online qualifier to live and different events. Good job. Keep sharpening that axe, buddy.
No.
Gonna get us fucking kicked out of it. Before we know it, Dave's gonna be telling us not to talk to games athletes anymore. And two, I don't know, dude. I was looking. Granted, you're with some beasts, but even if you would have won that workout, you're kind of in no man's land in 5th place. Everyone above you trounced you, and then you fucking trounced the guys below you.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you.
You're kind of in a weird. So it's like, it's an interesting thing. And one final thing before you move on, Brian. Brian, is he going to win an event at the games? And does everyone know, oh shit, Zach Watts is strong as shit? Like, there's always a guy at the games where everyone's like, oh great, this guy's here. Is he that guy?
If there's a 1 rep max snatch, he can definitely win. If there's a 1 rep max clean and jerk, there'll be a guys giving him a run for his money, but he's right up there with the best.
Are you ready to set a PR at the games?
Hell yeah. I literally can't wait. It's like, so it's a really weird feeling, like lifting, especially like spotlight lifting, kind of like the Mac did, like where all eyes are on you, and like, for example, the games and the clean and stuff. So this is not dramatic at all. Like there's like this like tingly sensation, like when you're about to lift, and like the weight is like weightless. Like there's no feeling on it. And so I felt like I could have snatched like 330 at that, or maybe, I don't know exactly, but I could have snatched way more, 320 at least at the event, mainly just because the weight felt so light. So I can only imagine being at the games in that moment, and like the adrenaline and just how pumped up you'll be just to lift that weight. So I'm hoping for a PR, big PR there.
You hear it, right, Brian? He's got championship mindset.
Yeah.
You hear it. Okay, go on. Sorry. That was great description, Zach. Thanks. It's cool.
The thing I wanted to ask him, you always think I'm grinding the axe against CrossFit. I'm curious of the athlete's opinions, and I'm curious if he cares. Like, if do you care that other people were able to qualify through different means, or would you prefer to know that I made it through the same testing process as all these guys?
As in like the last chance qualifier, or just like different workouts in the different semifinals?
The different workouts in the different semifinals.
I think I like the different aspect of it. Looking at the events, going into Granite Games, so that was something that I didn't necessarily want to go to, because when I went to Granite Games on the team, like I knew that they had a field, and I knew that they would probably focus around running. I knew they'd be outside, and like those are just things of like longer endurance events that I wouldn't necessarily like choose to go to.
Which ended up not being the case, actually.
Right.
Aren't they notorious for heavy events? Short and heavy?
Yeah, but he's thinking about the new facility that they have, and so he wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Right. And it was a fair assumption,
Yeah,
but in this
I didn't
case, it ended up being not the opposite. They had the shortest events of any semifinal.
I think the max workout was what, like 12 to 15 minutes?
Yeah, that dumbbell thruster workout that took exactly.
Yeah.
They said that they would count the back-to-back workouts that had like a 1 minute reset. They're on the fields for like 22 minutes at a time as a long-ish event, and it was actually a long time in that heat there. But so Sevan, that's exactly right. So he thought about that, and there was a strategy to his approach to try to get placed at the one he wanted.
So he's not just all muscle; he's got some brain too.
Try to.
But I think it's cool. I mean, some of the athletes say they want the same test for everyone, and others are like, nah, it's kind of cool that there's some different ones, and whatever. When we get through however you need to, and when you get there, then we'll see who shouldn't have been here, or who's the best amongst us.
What I'm most thankful
What's your max?
Oh, sorry, what?
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say what I'm most thankful for is that you have to like earn your spot at these competitions, because the sanctionals and stuff, being someone who doesn't have sponsors that are just like throwing money around, like I couldn't afford to go to multiple events. I mean, some of these athletes were going to weekend after weekend of CrossFit competitions just to have a chance at qualifying. And someone who's paying out of pocket for these events, like I can't afford to go to these events. I can't book hotels and flights and stuff like that. So I went to my sanctionals I went to 2 sanctionals, and that was it. And I mean, I had to do fundraising and all that stuff. Like I paid for that. So I think this opportunity of like, hey, you have your chance, you earn your spot, and you go. Like I think that's the best way to do it. I think it's the fairest way.
Until you're making loot. What do you think about that? That's a very interesting argument. Part of me I love it coming out of Zach's mouth because I haven't heard it before. But part of me is like, like fuck equity.
I mean, like
get in your car and sleep in the back and go to it. But I do like what he's saying a lot. Like just because I think it gets under your skin.
No, it doesn't get under my skin either way. I just, like I've said before, I think it's good to have the conversation because we're ultimately looking for the best process. I don't know that we found the best process yet. But do we ever want to be complacent and say we have, or always explore different options?
Good dude. Just another data point for you. What's your max weighted pull-up?
Ooh, I haven't maxed that out in a long time, but Shoot, I don't know. I'd have to go back into like the coaching app that I have and go find it. I don't remember.
Have you ever done 100 pounds?
Yeah. I'm
110 pounds?
I want to say it was probably like 120. That's the number that's coming in my head. I don't know.
Did you use a dumbbell or did you use like the weight strap with the chain and put the plates through it?
The weight chain with like a ton of kettlebells on it.
Oh, wow.
You just never know, so you just keep adding.
Yeah. That's cool. I've never done it that way. When I was like way into that at one point, and I'm pretty sure I did a 100-pound dumbbell for 2, and then I think I tried to go up from there for 1, and I couldn't do it. But I was hoping like I could just tell you right now to your face. I was looking at you that I did something stronger than you. But
Zach, do you have any any swim?
And I think it's harder with that shit swinging from you.
Any swimming in your background?
I've always had a pool growing up, so I learned how to swim, like just through constantly swimming all the time. So I think I'm a fast swimmer. I don't know necessarily how long he's going to make us swim. I recently raced a collegiate swimmer. It was a woman who was bragging, thinking that she was going to beat me, and I may or may not have beat her. So that was pretty cool.
Have you ever done like a mass start in a lake like that?
So I swam in 2 competitions before. One was a mass start, and one was actually in a pool in Brazil. So in Wadapalooza on the 3-person team, it was like a sandbag, air squat, synchro workout for the 3-person teams, and they did guys and girls together, and there's 30 teams on the floor, and we were the 29th team in the water. So everybody was already in the water before us except for one team. And so my other teammate, Zach Souter, literally just was like, all right, we're going to jump, and just jumped on everybody and dove in. And I was like,
I approve. I approve so much of that.
I was more so on the side of like, I really just don't want to drown. So I like jumped out and swam extra around everybody and like past everybody. It was a way smarter move.
Yeah, I mean, because you said your mom did triathlons, so she's probably had some familiarity with that. So I didn't know if maybe you know. Because it's different to swim and then to swim with 30, 40, 50 other bodies all around you.
For sure. My dad did some swimming too. He did some like duathlons. So he was big into swimming. So I would go with him every once in a while.
What kind of athlons?
A duathlon. So it's like 2 instead of a triathlon. It's a duathlon. He can't run. He's got 2 replaced knees, so he can't run.
Oh, so swimming and biking.
Yeah.
Do they have swimming and running, and they also call it a duathlon?
I don't know. Maybe.
Do your dogs know you're the boss of the house? Careful, this is a loaded question.
I would say no. I think they think my wife is the boss.
It's kind of funny too. I shouldn't. Maybe that was a bad guess because like I pride myself of being like the fucking king of my house. But you're right. My dogs actually think my wife's the boss too. That's weird. Maybe I'm lying to myself. But this ties in with what Brian was saying about mass starts. Like, you seem like such a nice guy. Like, do you have the I mean, I know you're not fighting in a cage, but there is a little bit of the killer instinct you will need to have in that mass start, I'm guessing. Like, do you have that? Like, are you willing to like pick your line and run it and like just let dudes bounce off you? You're a big dude.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm definitely, like, people probably are better long distance swimmers, but I'm more powerful in terms of like, if I really just need to like screw it and get around someone, like I can definitely overtake them in swimming. So I'm confident.
I'm just saying, like, I'm saying this starting line that only holds 15 guys and there's 40 guys vying for a spot. Are you going to stand where you want to stand?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm going to get out in front of everybody, so I don't have to deal with that.
Have you ever flipped the pig?
I have not. Never flipped a pig, but we have some pretty dang big tires at the gym here in Cincinnati.
Because Conjugates.
Do you got any tips?
Conjugates, they've put out some teams before. They've had some competitors, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So I wasn't sure if they'd have.
I forget the year. A lot of
apparatus.
they have the they went a couple years with the 6-person team, I think, back when Sam Dancer was there. He was at Conjugate for a while. Alex Bookout, the head coach of CrossFit Conjugate. I believe he went to the regionals on the team. So they have some competitive history there.
When's the last class you've taken at an affiliate, or you just jumped in with a class?
This past week.
Yeah, you're awesome, dude. I want to ask you, we're at 94 minutes, but there's a question I want to ask you before we let you go about your diet. Will you ever go back to eating like Oreos and mac and cheese? And what do you think about that version of yourself that used to eat that? Like, does it blow your mind that you did that?
Yeah. I mean, no, for sure. Being like health conscious and trying to be as fit as possible. Don't eat it too much, but I mean, as a cheat right after the semifinal, I had some double stuffed Oreos and they were amazing.
Yeah, it's as a cheat. And tell me about like a typical day for you for eating.
For eating, preparing for the games and stuff and semifinals, I am getting up at 5 a.m. I eat something real quick, like a protein shake and like a granola bar. I head to the gym, train for.
That's the stuff that when you say your protein shake, you're talking about the Nova.
Yeah, Nova Labs.
Okay.
Quick protein shake.
Okay.
It's like 30 grams of protein in a scoop. So chug that real quick. Eat a granola bar just to get some carbs, and then go train for a little bit. And then I come home, have a big breakfast. Then I'll go to work, which is.
What's in your breakfast?
Mainly it's like eggs, sausage, and like fruit and toast or stuff like that. Then I go to work, so I work from like 8:30 till like 12:30. Then I'll have lunch, which is normally like turkey, rice, and vegetables. And then I'll work till 4:30. And then I'll have a quick snack. Just kind of depends on the day, whether it's like a protein bar or just something quick. Go to the gym, train for.
Does Nova make a protein bar?
No, they do not. That'd be cool though.
Okay.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
And then after the gym, I come home and normally my wife makes dinner and try to just eat as much carbs as I can get to fuel the next day. So.
What's that look like? Eat as much carbs as you can. What's that look like?
Basically a lot of rice, whether it's rice, sweet potatoes, basically anything I can. Try to get probably like 100 to 150 grams of carbs at night before I go to bed. Not immediately before bed,
wow.
But just to refuel the next day.
Would you eat pasta?
Oh, yeah. Like whole wheat pasta, yeah.
And this toast that you said you eat, do you know how many ingredients are in your toast?
Not a lot. It's pretty solid toast.
It's like, because we have this stuff here in my town, it's called like Watsonville sourdough, and it only has like 3 ingredients. Oh. I was just wondering if you...
No, there's no sugar in it. It's just like whole wheat toast.
Okay. And what's the name of the supplement you take?
It's called Nova 3 Labs.
Okay. You're welcome, Nova 3 Labs. You see how when he said he took a supplement, I brought it up again, Mr. Nova? Do you know who the CEO is over there?
Yeah, I know the owner, yeah.
What's his name?
Her name is Jen Lord.
June Lord?
Jen. Yeah.
Lord. Miss Jen Lord, you're welcome.
Also, I know one of your friends.
And I'm willing to coach any of your athletes or Jen Lord on what to say and not to say on a podcast.
I know one of your friends.
Number, well, you can get it from Zach.
Sevan.
Oh, who?
Lance Kelly.
Who? Oh, he worked. That's where he works?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a trip. Yeah. I see him. He just moved to Santa Cruz.
Yeah, he said, what's up?
They're a Canadian. What's up, Lance? They're a Canadian organization, outfit?
Yeah, actually, I think so.
Because I think he just moved to Santa Cruz because I keep seeing him down at the beach.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a while, but I used to see him in a while, I mean like a month or two. But I used to see him down there all the time. Damn. I should have invited. I keep saying I'm going to invite him to my house for a fight. I should have invited him last night. We had a
Sevan. He
party.
He just started following me on Instagram yesterday. Small world, yeah.
Lance?
He knew.
Have you ever?
He knew I was coming on.
There we go.
Have you ever worked out with him?
So actually, it's a cool story. I randomly ran.
We'll be the judge of that. Go on.
Okay, that's fair. I ran into him at the Brazil sanctional, and randomly just started talking to him. I have no idea why or like how it started or anything, but I started talking to him. And I ran into him a couple of times at a couple of different competitions. And then at the MAC, I ran into him again, sparked conversation, and he ended up messaging me afterward and was like, hey, like I am the chief branding officer of Nova Labs, and like I can also help out with some other like companies if you want. So if you, I work with like Angelo DeChico and I don't know how to say his name, but Sam Cornier or from Just Qualified.
Yeah, Samuel Cornway.
I forget how to say it. Yeah.
See, he can't say his name either, Zach or Brian. Why don't you laugh at him like you laugh at me every time?
Come on, man.
But he works with them, like helping with other companies and stuff and partnering and stuff. So he's been helping me out. He's been great. And hopefully we can get to a point where I don't have to work a full-time job anymore if this whole CrossFit Games thing goes well.
Yeah, that is a cool story. You're right. Have you worked out with him? Have you ever worked out with him?
No, I've never actually worked out with him, no.
I can't remember the exact story, but it was the spirit of the story will be right. He was I walked into CrossFit HQ into the gym. I went downstairs to work out, and he was down there. And I can't remember what the workout was. It was like, I know there were deadlifts in it and something else, 2 movements, like a deadlifts and then some sort of body weight movement. And I think we worked out together. But whatever the workout was, it was something like a 350-pound deadlift, and then I scaled it down to like 150. And he still fucking destroyed me. I was like, and it wasn't like I was out of shape or anything, but he might not seem strong to you as a games athlete, but to me he was just a savage.
Yeah,
a
definitely
complete savage. Anything else you want to say, Brian?
I don't think so. I'm pretty. I just have a really general optimism for this year's games. I think there's a really good balance of new guys coming back who've been doing other things for a year or two, and some obviously well-entrenched guys who are making a run at the title. And it's going to be cool to see how it all works together, because the men's field this year is different than any recent memory year. I think we have to go all the way back to 2009 to find a year that's, in my mind, is like similar to this. So cool to see someone like this a part of it. I always like guys that can mix it up on some of the unusual events. I think he can do that, and consistent finishes on all the kind of classic ones. See what happens.
Zach, are you getting? Do you still feel like you're getting better? Like, you're only 25.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm getting better. Definitely was impressed by this season. Impressed myself. I didn't really train a whole lot before the Open. I just really didn't know what was going on with a full-time job. We had just gotten married in October, so just kind of there's a lot of things going on just with general in life, and not really focusing on training so much. So in another interview, they asked like when I realized like, hey, this could be the year. Like I didn't even realize that this was even possible until like I was at the MAC, like after day 1, sitting in second place, and I was like, man, at this point I just can't screw it up and got to hold on. So I'm impressed that with the little amount of training that I was doing, that I've been able to come this far. And I think especially with the more time I have potentially after the games, if it goes well, and being able to train full time and make a living being a professional CrossFitter, like putting all that other stuff aside that like pretty much drains all my time, like I could obviously focus on running and focus on getting better in the areas that I need to. So I'm excited for that.
Does it matter where you place in the games for how hard you're going to train for next year? Like whether you take 10th or 30th? Like do you think that next year you'll come back even stronger than you are now?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So this kind of lit a fire under you. You feel like this is huge. You made the games, and that in itself is like going to motivate you for next year.
Yeah, for sure. Like I'm really excited. Like obviously I want to do well. I think an easy goal is just like an easy goal as in not like a perfect number of like I want to get like top whatever. It's just like top half. So like top 20 I think would be just an awesome accomplishment. I think I'm excited to get back to like training, to work on weaknesses, and if that means no full-time job, then I'm going to hammer away until I can potentially win the games one day.
Is top 20 doable for him, Brian? It's a field of savages. You think how many semifinals were
10.
there?
Different numbers go from each one of them.
10. Okay, so let's, how many so if he took even if he made the top 30, let's say he took 30th, that would still be roughly mathematically speaking put him at the top of the heap of all the guys who took 5th or last place in their semifinal.
Yeah, but there's the games is different, and also look at the guys that beat him at his particular semifinal. All 4 of those guys are top 10 threats, and granted his point total was a little bit withdrawn from theirs, but you still can't discount that. So there were, like you said earlier, a huge host of guys who everyone was looking at to make the games that he beat just to get there in that field. I'm not sure yet, and I kind of know historically what a 4th and 5th place finish in regionals translate to at the games, but this is the first year of semifinals, so I'm not so sure if it's going to be the same kind of correlate or not.
And you've never done an event with 14 workouts, have you?
No, but we train pretty high volume already, so especially preparing for this over the past couple of weeks.
You don't train high volume. What are you talking about? You work all day.
Well, I try to get as much
Carry
volume as I
oxygen
can.
bottles around all
Hey,
day.
they're heavy.
All right. All right. You have any concerns for him, Brian, in terms of 14 events?
I thought it was 15.
14, 15,
Whatever. What's
I
one
think
event? Is it? Have they announced that, Zach? Have they announced that?
Dave keeps doing like hashtag 15 for 15, and I think I'm just taking that as 15 events.
It's a 15th
Okay.
year. I think as long as, kind of we talked about earlier with the running, as long as the events that are most difficult for him don't become so problematic that they affect everything else, then it's fine. I think that's really when you get into trouble at the games, is if you go too hard on an event and it sets you back for the next events.
What do you mean?
Think about Cara
Saunders.
No.
Sorry, I want to let you go. That
No.
doesn't even make. Don't you have to go too hard?
No, think about
in every
Cara
event?
Saunders and Murph, the 2015. It's an easy example. As she went so hard in that event that it affected the rest of her performances on the weekend. Annie Thorzauer did the same. She had to withdraw from the competition. And sometimes it's not so obvious. Sometimes it's more of a subtle thing. It might not be a health thing, but it's a mental thing where you're like, man, I made that one mistake in that workout, and then this happened. I cost all these points, and some people can't get over it. So I think that especially if you know that you got that many tests, you have to be realistic with yourself about when you can go for it and when you can't, because of what it could cost you down the road.
That actually sparks the thought, actually, for me. Like you saying that. So the third event at the MAC was like that new girl workout. I think it was called Gretel or something. It was 10 rounds of 3 clean and jerks and 3 bar facing burpees. I sold my soul for that workout, and I was hurting for a long time. We went to go get food after that because we had a little bit of downtime, and I couldn't eat. I just was trying to recover and slowly just eventually started drinking shakes and stuff because the food wasn't going down. So I'm curious if that played a factor in that next event.
You think?
So you took 6th. That's very interesting because you took 6th in that event, which is amazing. And then that's when, after that, is when you had your worst event.
And think
That's
about
a really
this:
good
I laid outside for
the guy right below him was Tyler Eggeman on the overall leaderboard.
Wow.
He finished 14th on Gretel. He was only 12 seconds slower than Zach. He placed 11th on the next workout. His total points for those 2 workouts, 14th and 11th, is 109. Zach's 6th with a 26th is 93. So he gave away 16 points there. If he would have maybe just gone back a few seconds, it's like a row. If you do a 1K row and you go for it, really go for it, or you go 95%, it's only a couple seconds difference, but it's a world of difference of how you feel.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh shit! I see what you're saying here. So you're saying basically, if those were just those 2 workouts, Tyler would have gone to the games.
I'm just saying maybe Tyler didn't go into the depth of his soul to get the 6th place, and he just went to 95% and took the 14th. And then we're speculating. And then maybe he felt good enough to do another average performance, where Zach was still climbing back from that and had a really bad performance. It's just a thought,
Yeah.
But you feel like you want to go for it all the time and get every point you can. But if you have 14 tests, you have to have that total mindset of, this is only test 7. Is it worth it for me to push that extra 5% here if it's going to cost me 30% tonight?
That
Do you know how to do that? Do you know how to reel yourself in, Zach?
I guess we'll see.
I mean, that's serious. I'm being serious.
Definitely. I think another factor that went into that third workout was I thought I was going to win that workout. And so that was a workout that I was very confident in. Barbell cycling is a huge strength of mine. It's a huge confidence workout for me. And I was just like going to push the burpees as fast as I could. And we did the first round, and just everyone on that final heat was flying. And so I was just like, all right, we're doing this, and went full sprint. Like, I was going like as fast as I could. And I think I ended up slowing down the last like 3 rounds because I was just like gassed so hard. So I ended up having that like Fran cough, like you just start coughing and stuff afterward. I laid on the ground for like 30 minutes outside on the cool concrete just to like cool down and stuff. So I think that was a factor. I didn't even think of that, but it definitely could be.
I mean, that's the element of when I say someone has experience at the games that I think is really hard to replicate by doing competitions that have 5 to 10 workouts even instead of 10 to 15. Like it's a totally different kind of experience to navigate that and to understand it. And you have that thought now, and you go there and you try to do the best you can within what you know and about that kind of competition. But coming out of that weekend, you're going to have so much information that you didn't have before, no matter whether you do well or not. And that's when you see the guys that have 5, 6, 7, 8 years of experience at the games. They're really the only ones that know as much as you can know when's the right time to push and when's the right time to just like accept this as my placement in this one.
Yeah, right.
Do you know why you're so comfortable hurting in the pain cave? Do you know why what in you makes you suited for the high levels of discomfort in CrossFit workouts?
Not exactly. I just I'm competitive, and I want to win. I want to beat people, and through just the experience of all of the workouts I've done over the course of the past 7 years, you learn where to push and when to push and what you got to do to beat people. So I'm very fortunate that in my past I've had pretty good, or not pretty good, pretty awesome training partners that have pushed me in areas where I needed pushed. So I was able to train with another individual games athlete, Ryan Souter, for 2 years straight, who he qualified in 2019 and went to the games. So we just push each other constantly. So I think that competitive drive, he's one of my best friends, but I also want to beat him in every workout I possibly can. So having that drive literally right next to me in just a square over in the gym is huge motivation, and just you just learn to start hurting, and if you want to win, you got to hurt.
So there's nothing in you you're not trying, you're not holding on to the bully who pulled your hair and spit on you in the 3rd grade, and you're proving something to him.
No, not at all. I just want to win.
Interesting, because man, it's a lot of discomfort.
Yeah.
Does your wife do CrossFit?
Yeah, she does CrossFit, but not competitively. She just does it for fun.
Do you train together?
She goes to the gym with me. Yeah, but we don't do the same workout.
If you ever go to a hotel room, do you guys ever do 100 burpees together or anything like that? There's never a time when you guys work out together?
Yeah, every once in a while, if we go on vacation or something, we'll work out together or go for a run together. She's been helping me get motivated to get up early in the morning and go to the gym. She's been going with me to the gym we wake up at 5 a.m. every day to go, and she goes with me. And just knowing that she's gonna get up with me and help push me out the door, that's a huge factor into me training every morning. And also there's another guy at the gym who meets me there every single morning, trains with me, and just knowing that I can't let my wife down and can't let him down. I'm not gonna just not show up. That's a huge motivation to get up in the morning, so it makes it easy.
What's his deal? What's his name? Why is he doing that?
His name's Dalton. He's just a good guy. I think.
Michael Dalton?
No, his name's Dalton Boucher, like the water boy, Bobby Boucher.
Okay. Oh, another movie reference.
There you go. But yeah, he's been.
What?
Go ahead. What?
And why does he do that?
He's just a good friend. I think it's really cool. I didn't necessarily expect anyone to go through all of this games training with me and stuff, but I've had a lot a lot of cool guys from the gym helped me out. Another one, his name's Caleb Farrell. He's a younger guy. He's like 20 years old. He's doing a lot of workouts with me. Our coach, our gym coach, his name is Alex Bookout. He's been doing a lot of workouts with me. Just a lot of push, and I think they're extremely supportive, and they want to see me do well. And it's way easier to have someone like suffering with you, like next to you, than just doing it in the corner by yourself.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. Your wife does that. Did you guys is the gym open, or do you have a key when you get there? You let yourself in?
No, gym's open. I don't have a key.
And did you have a discussion with your wife about that? Or it's like, hey, will you go with me at 5 a.m.? Did you have to ask her, or how does that work?
So it was actually the Sunday morning at the MAC. We were about to go in for the final 2 workouts, and so she had done CrossFit for a long time, and then kind of got away from it during COVID and stuff, and like hasn't really like just jumped back into it. So we're getting ready to leave, and she comes back and she's like, "All right, I'll make you a deal." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Well, if you finish this day strong and qualify, like, I'll join CrossFit Conjugate, and we can go to the 6 a.m. class every single day together." And
Holy
I was
shit.
like,
6 a.m. She said 6 a.m.
well, the class is at 6 a.m. We get up at 5 a.m.
Okay.
So we get up. So she said that, and I was like, "Oh, okay," because I've been trying to like get her to get back into CrossFit and stuff, because I knew that she would like it to get back into it. So she said that was really exciting, and I knew that it would help me get up in the morning as well.
That was on your way to the MAC, she said that?
Yeah.
And then when you won, when you qualified for the games, how long after before you talked about that again? Was it like 5 minutes after? You're like, she walks off the podium and she's like, damn.
Yeah, I don't even know if she really knew what she was getting into, but we talked about it pretty immediately after qualifying, just how we're going to prepare to get ready for the games.
Dude, that's a good wife.
Yeah,
man.
She's awesome.
That's it. That is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Winners surrounding themselves with winners.
Yeah.
I love that. Zach, thanks for coming on with us.
I really appreciate you guys having me.
Dude, our pleasure. It's we have no show without you, so we appreciate it.
It's nice to finally meet you, Sevan and Brian.
Yeah, man, definitely see you up in Madison.